Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. Today we're going to talk about the money game in real estate. So we're just going to dive into it. And most importantly, what I want to focus on is how to get funding for your deals. So what types of have available of funding that able to. So first of all, we're going to start by crushing myth. Think, well, it's not that good. I don't have, my credit is have enough money. Therefore, I'm going to start doing wholesales instead of maybe doing holds or flips. So we're going to crush that myth. Guess what? Your money in real estate not when you flip, because guess real estate, no property, or when you rent the property, you're going to be making money in real estate when you get a great on the contract. That's it. The thing is that once you get a great property on the contract, if you have equity, therefore you're going to have cash flow. It's going to be very easy to find partner. It is that simple. So now let's describe what's a great deal. So what is it that is required of you to get very simple? You need to focus on properties that are 200,000 and less, and you must have of at least 100,000 from the purchase price to its ARV. What does that mean? That if you buy the property, let's say for 70,000, it has to appraise at 170,000 after you've done the repairs, and your scope of work have estimated exceed 40. It should not be 1,000. That is the key formula, the sweet spot. I'm going to repeat this again. You need $100,000 spread. Your rehab shouldn't be more than 40,000. And that makes it a great deal because you're going to have enough equity to satisfy the funding partners, whether you do a flip or a buy and hold, because you're going to be able to cash flow on a rental. You're going to be able to take at least 20% flip. What? Lenders make a percent return on a, so you're going to be looking at the debt coverage ratio of 1.2. What that means is that you want to make sure that you cash flow at least 20% from your collected rent. What it means is that $1,000, your operating expenses plus debt service or mortgage payment should not exceed $800. So they want you to cash flow at least $100. Okay, super vacancies for you to understand. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this again. When I say that you need to find a property with a rehab of less than 40,000, that means that it's a light to medium rehab. So what it means is that you're going to be doing updating the flooring. You might resand, varnish the existing hardwood floor. You might put engineered flooring. You're going to need paint. You're going to need to update the kitchen and the bathroom. But I said update, got in the bathroom, kitchen, because if you got the bathroom and the kitchen, it's going to be for the kitchen at least 9,000 to 10,000. For the bathroom, it go as high as 6,000. Okay. So what I mean by updating, that means that you're painting the cabinets. You may be the cabinets for having most of the appliances. So we're just talking light, medium rehab on a property. So let's go back to the funding. Let's go to the options that you have. So once you find a great deal that you have on the contract, then you have two options funding. You have either a private money lender who is an individual with a lot of money, pretty much investors. So they give you the money in exchange for a return. And then you have the hard money lenders. Those are the big institutions. Money for both of them. So the interest rate on both of them is going to average about 12%. They're going to charge you 2 points. So 1 point is 1% of the total. So if they give you 100,000, they're going to charge you 2,000 just for points, origination fees. Okay, and then a short, it's about up to term loan, 9-month term. Okay, now the cool thing about that, you can think of that fund as cash. So when you make an offer, guess what? Buyer, you're going to consider that a cash offer. Super important, okay? And what I really love about either hard money lending or private money lending is that they're going to finance 100% of the rehab. That is just huge, okay? Obviously, they're not going to give you the money up front. You're going to get the money after you do the rehab. So again, what's the difference between lenders and private lenders? Which one should I go? Very simple. Hard money lenders are big, so private money lenders is going to be relationship based, who you know, okay? And large institutions, they're just going to follow the protocol for on the, okay? So it's pretty much the same. It's just big corporation, relationship based, okay? Now, when you start looking for deals, you already need to have your funding line up. Super important. I've seen that a lot of people are finding great deals, but they have not yet lined up their funding. So when they're ready to pull the trigger and make an offer on a, guess what? When you offer on a property, you have to include a proof of funds or pre-approval letter or a however you later, okay? So it needs to be included with the offer because otherwise that's your offer. They're not going to be serious, okay? So you have to have that funding in place. So how do you do that? The way to do that is with lenders, we're going to give you a list of 20 hard money lenders that are lending money today, okay? So you reach out to and you need to them in a short period of time because some of them are going to run your credit, but it's going to be a soft inquiry. It's not going to affect your FICO score, okay? So they're going to check your FICO score, going to ask for liquidity, your assets, any savings that you may have. They're going to want to know all of that, okay? Super important. Once they go over your liquidity, typically they're going to multiply that by 3 up to 5 times. So let's say if you have 30,000, they're going to multiply that times 5. So they're going to give you a line of credit of 150,000. Okay, that's what you need to include when you make an offer. Okay, so let's assume that right to the right away you submit an offer hard money lender and they're going to put it through underwriting, but they need about 3 to 4 days to get an appraisal and then they're going to do writing and they give you the clear to close in as little as 2 to 3 weeks. So they extremely money lenders, even lenders are quicker because they don't have that underwriting overhead process that the large hard money lenders do, okay? So they can close in as little as a week if you have a private money lender. And in ChicagoDealVault, we have over 6,000 private money lenders. When we run our events, you're gonna get to know existing DealVault members who are lending today, okay? Super important. So to our virtual speed networking events, super important, okay? So once you get a great deal and you reach out to these lenders, then they're going to fund the transaction, but they're not going to give you money for the rehab, and they're going to want you to have skin on the game. They want you to have at least 10 to 15% down, okay, to 15% down. Most of them, listen to that, 10 to 15% down, most of them are going to be lean towards the 15%. Pre it was you could get away with even percent, but now they're moving more towards the 50% down. So if you buy a property, let's say for 100,000, you need 50 just for the down payment, some reserves for closing. So you need to have at least 20,000 in reserves. Okay, but again, if you don't have that money, you can partner up, or I'm going to give you another secret that I love. This credit super important. You need to have your setup, business setup. Okay, that's just step number 1. Step number 2, apply for business credit. 7 can apply for, and to me, they were just amazing because despite the fact that I didn't have a W2 or using my limit every line, line of credit every other month when I call them. They didn't ask me for tax returns, not documentation, just do I want to increase? I said, be growth. Okay, very simple to the point that one business credit card is about 120K in line of credit. And the beauty about that is that you also get advance. Assume that you want to buy a property, cash that you don't have the down payment, you can tap into the cash advance from the business. It's like very simple. Going to the bank and say, I want a cash advance from this credit. It's going to be super expensive money. It's going to be close to probably 22%, but it's just temporary money just for you to have reserves enough for the down payment. Very simple. So I'm going to give you some examples of those next. Okay. So here, once you set up your open up a account, very simple. These are the business credit cards. So we're going to send you an email, I'll put it on the chat, okay, to support at ChicagoDealVault.com, okay? So I'm going to show you what they look like. Okay, I'm going to click on this link, and it's going to open up a list of about 7 business credit cards. So we're going to give you the phone number so that you can reach out to them, and they have an online form. That's all it takes for you to fill out the form. And the beauty about business credit cards is that it doesn't affect your FICO. You can even use the entire line of credit, and it's not going to affect your FICO. Completely two different things. So these are the major banks, major business cards. Send an email will. Okay, it's important. Let me give you an example. So in this particular credit card, we started with about 10,000. I was just blown out of my mind how I called. We're buying properties, and they kept increasing the line of credit. So here, the beauty about this is that we can tap into the cash advance. Should we need to tap into the cash advance for a down payment where the lender needs to see some reserves, some liquidity, boom, you're going to use these. Okay, so the objective is to use money, and the same business card, then you're going to be using the business credit to pay for materials. Okay, when you do the rehab, and some of the contractors also take credit cards, so you pay for labor and materials. And this is the next step that I told you. We're going to give you again a list of about 12 Harmony lenders. Okay, so these are the big institutions that you can apply for a business line of credit. It's like a human card. Okay, so this is yours as well, so that you line up funding for your deals today. So a lot of them. Some of them are nationwide, but they're lending today. We currently use few of them. Okay, all of them have been vetted. So when you reach out to them and give them your information, bank statements and so forth, they're going to give you something that looks like this: pre-approval or approval letter, however they want to call it, either with the terms or without the terms. But this is what you're going to be using to attach to your contract when you make an offer, okay? Because this is super important to make sure that your offer doesn't get tossed. You've got to include a proof of funds, pre-approval letter. Every lender calls it differently. This is another one from Barnett, okay? They call these approved, okay? Because in a sense, once you have these, that makes your offer stronger. Still, the property and the contract needs to go through underwriting. They're going to make sure that it appraises for the right amount, that you have some back-end value, because they want to make sure that you are able to pay them off. Okay, so you need to have enough equity. Talking about refinance, so that you refinance and pay finances. That's the next step, pay them off. Now, because you make an offer, you include your proof of funds, and then you do the rehab. How are you going to pay for the rehab? You use your business credit cards, either to tap into some cash to pay some contractors, or use the credit card for both labor and materials. Super important, friends. In credit cards, in fact, I encourage you to use credit to pay for materials 100% because you're charging again from other people's money, and then for returns, it's just a lot easier. And even for labor, right? If there's any dispute on the labor, the work business credit card, once you pay out, it's really easy to work with business cards, okay? Because once cash, it's gone, right? So it's important. Now, the refinance, something that you've got to understand. Once you use a hard money lender or a private money lender, that is the cash you have. Upfront cash for you to get the deal and get it refinanced. But once you rent it, okay, if you're going to buy and hold the property, you need to pay them off. This is expensive money, right? 12 up to 16%. You need now to turn this loan into a rental loan. Back, meaning third party you can use on the can refinance. You're going to use a conventional lender. Those are like the Bank of America, our preferred partner, Homebridge. So they're going to pay off the expensive money, and they're going to give you a long-term 30-day or year loan at a lower interest rate. Especially right now, rates are like historically low. It's in your benefit. Now, the new trend, listen to this. So hard money lenders are making money upfront, right? Especially with the points and the high interest rate. But they realized you brought that they were a piece of the pie when you third-party lender or a conventional lender to finance and pay them off. So they got smart. Now, hard money lenders also can turn that loan into a rental loan, which is because you're going to have money on the closing expenses. So I love that option. Okay, most hard money lenders have that option. In fact, doing two. The lender plays properties where they gave hard money lender the money for the purchase and the rehab, and now that we rented the property, we're turning that loan into a rental with the same lender. So when they did an appraisal, the appraisal has two numbers: the asset value and the repair value or scope of work. So they don't need to do another appraisal. Okay, so you can refinance as little as super fast. You are going to save a lot in closing expenses. Plus, you built a great relationship with that lender. Okay, Barnett has introduced that. There's constructive loans, Renovo, just to mention a few. They have implemented a long-term rental program where they can turn your original loan into. I love that option. And then right now, when you refinance, you're going to be getting interest rates in the 5s. Okay, but again, what they care about is you have enough equity. So you need to have at least 25% equity. Let me give an example. What that is for 200, and you're going to put in, let's say, 40,000 up to 50,000. Okay, in rehab, you have 50,000 in equity. That's how much equity they require to do the refinance. So that's why it's for you to have enough equity, because if you don't have enough equity, you won't be able to get the back-end value to refinance. That's a big. So you need 25% equity. Think about this: pay 100, rehab, put about 40, 50, and then you need to have that 5% for them to refinance. They want to make sure that you do have in place, because that's going to meet their ratio of the debt coverage. Not only that, but with equity, you're going to be able to capital, have the equity, and their investment is safe. They want to make sure their investment is safe. So here's just what I just told you in a nutshell, right? So the hard lenders, it's super fast money, although it's expensive, in a nutshell. Okay, now the private money lenders, it's again fast money. The only disadvantage is that it requires for you to build a personal relationship with that individual. okay? But again, both options are amazing because they can give you up to 85–90% price the rehab. And now the refi plus, okay, the Harmony lenders are putting that loan into a rental loan. So they do everything for you. What they require is lease. So you have to have the property rented. Super important, okay? Without a lease, you will not be able to refinance, okay? Now, the option that I have for funding is banks. The last option is conventional. Those are the big banks. They come at the end of the transaction. If you don't use the Harmony lenders to refinance, obviously you can use conventional lenders, the big banks, because they expect the property to be in ready moving condition for them to refinance. But they obviously also need equity in the deal. They're going to give you best interest rate on the market. Okay, so with them, you can look into the low fives, fours. So it's up to you which way you want to go. I just like to have everything in one place. Also works. Use Homebridge multiple times for this back-end refinance. Okay. And the reason I use commanders from purchase is they expect to have property in good condition. They expect to have all the utilities turned on. And guess what? When we buy great deals with a lot of equity, oftentimes they're not obviously in moving condition. They don't have appliances. Utilities are shut or winterized. So you not even be able to inside the property. So they won't be able to finance those transactions. That is why we use conventional lenders. Sound is better. Nicole, thank you for letting me know. So super important for properties in really great shape to get funded. So that is why we don't use them on the upfront purchase. We use them on the back end, okay, to pay off the okay. So are there any questions so far on the line? I want to make sure that you understand everything we just covered today and I'll quickly summarize. Harmony lenders and private money lenders are going to give you the upfront money for the purchase up to 85% or 90% plus the rehab money. But the rehab money is not given to you upfront. You've got to do that yourself, and then you can take draws. So as the project progresses, you can request draws. So let's say you do one phase, let's say the flooring and the painting, and then you can request a draw. So they're going to pay you for that. Okay, so you don't need to like do the entire project up front without getting money from them. So you can do it in phases. Okay, super important. There's another question on the line. When do you make an offer? When you make an offer, do you need a realtor to do that? Great question. You don't. So if it's an MLS property, you can reach out to the broker directly. So through ChicagoDealVault, we give you access to the MLS and you can see who the listing agent is. So you can call the listing agent and say, hey, listing agent, whatever the name is, I'm interested in your listing at the address, and say, would you be interested in doing dual agency? Meaning for them to represent you on the transaction, okay? And they love that because they get to keep two sides of the commission, okay? I'm gonna show you that in just a second. If it's an off-market property, meaning that it's technically not for sale, that it's still owned by the distressed owner, then you can reach out directly to the owner to make the offer. So I'm gonna show that next. Are there any other questions on the financing? So let me just quickly give you an example of what I. So we're gonna log into DealVault. So my first condition is a great deal. We have at least $100,000 spread. It is that simple. When you meet that number, then for the bank are work amazing. Okay, are gonna work. Any other questions on the line? Okay, so let me just quickly show you. We're going to find the deal, and then I'm going to show you how to get it funded very quickly, because lenders, they want to strategy. What is good with the property? I want to the property. So this is typically what I do with the lender. So we're going to go, just for sakes, I'm going to show you on the MLS, Bolingbrook, how to make an offer. It's very simple, in seconds. So give me all the Bolingbrook single family homes in boom, right here. Search. So we're searching the MLS live. Okay. So we have this property that has been on the market for 4. So I'm going to show for the listing agent. Scroll down, and on details right here, I scroll down, you're going to see the listing agent information. So if you're not a broker, you can call Patricia, okay? And you say, hey, Patricia, I'm interested in this property located at 159 Tilden, Bolingbrook. I would like to make an do dual agent, okay? Meaning she can either represent you or have somebody from their office represent you if you are not a broker. And in fact, you can make an on the spot you how much you need for. So all you need is click on make offer, MLS, put in how much money you're gonna offer on the property, when you're gonna close your down payment, submit offer, and in seconds, we create the PDF offer, okay? That's simple. Here, so this is offer that you submit along right here. Submit along with your pre-approval letter. Okay, so it's all done for you in few clicks. Now, if it's an off-market property, let me show you what I did. Spread, 100% spread. I'm going to look for properties in Bolingbrook, okay, just to be consistent. And I'm going to that I want to say 50% equity. They offer a little money, but yet the property is worth quite a lot. So they might owe 50,000. The property should be worth 100,000. So I'm going to say give all the pre-foreclosures with over 50% equity in Bolingbrook. Okay, so we got 47. Okay, so I'm going to click on the first one just for sakes, and I'm going to tell you why this is a good. So right here they owe. How much they owe? They owe 20,000 property, right? And here, but the liens are for $1,000, another one for 1,400, another one for 200. So those liens are very small. But guess what? The property is 280. Imagine they're going to lose the property because they only owe 20,000, but yet the property is worth 300. Get the property for 150,000. You're paying 50 cents on the dollar. So what I said to you earlier is, if I pay 150,000, this property needs price for 150,000. Do I have that spread right here? Of course I do. This property is going to price for over 250,000. So the most I should pay is 150,000, and that's exactly how much Chicago will pay, especially if you're going to. So even if you do a flip, you do a rental, guess what? We like to pay the flip price just in case we change our mind, we decide to the property instead of renting the property. And lenders love that. If you pay the flip price, you have successful exits in case one doesn't work or you change your mind. Okay. So the way to do that is you need to prove the deal to get it. So great property. This is a property that we can get for, let's say, 150,000. So what I like to do is I analyze the property very quickly for a rental and for a flip. I just need to put in few numbers, and then guess what? It's going to give for get it funded. So second, but before the report, I want to show that in just a second. Before we continue, we have Dr. Syed Ali on the line. He happens to be a private money lender. He's a great friend of ours, and all of you to his perspective on private money lender and what it means for you to get money. So, Dr. Ali, thank you for joining this morning. I greatly appreciate you joining this morning.
Anytime, Hugo. Thank you so much for inviting me. And please feel free to ask me any particular questions that I can help you with for my limited. I'm not an expert in private money lending, and thanks to my gurus, Andrew and Rahul from Mastery, I have learned a little bit about private money lending and find that to be my only niche in helping real estate investors.
Perfect. Thank you. So, Dr. Eli, let's take this example that we're showing. Let's say that we find a property that we can get on the contract for 150,000, but yet it's worth close to twice as much, 300,000. So, what is it that you need, sort of like, to get funding for this? We're interested in obviously the upfront money for the purchase and also the rehab. So, how much would you be able to offer? What is it that you need? What are you looking for?
Certainly. So again, and please don't consider me as to be an expert. I always encourage my borrowers to contact their attorney and contact their realtors to facilitate any borrowing that they are needing. Having said that, typically what we are looking at is security in the loan that we are lending, and the feasibility of that particular property becoming a successful venture for the investor, for the borrower. So typically the most important thing that we're concerned about is whether it's a secure property, whether it has a good ARV. They will be able to rehab the property within a matter of 4 months to 6 months. Our loans are typically up to 4 months, with 2%, with 2 points, 12%, hoping that they'll be able to turn that around in a period of about 4 months to 6 months and get refinancing on the property. So we're looking for all the information about the property. I look at the plat of survey. We need the insurance, home insurance, as well as the comps about the property, and so on and so forth. We really want to look at the rehab figures if they are coming to as close as possible to the accurate figures that are being projected. Because at the time of the initiation of the loan, we are also wanting to look at the exit strategy. So those are the kinds of things that we are looking at.
Perfect. Would you also request a property inspection report?
We certainly do. So home inspection is very, very important. It really definitely helps. And preferably a printed report is much better than just a verbal report. So property inspection is very critical, because often at times I've seen that for my borrowers, they have been able to bring down the price in the contract because of some items that the inspector found could end up making more of a headache and more of an expense for the borrower when they were going to do the rehabbing. So they can negotiate the price on the contract of the property also that way. So that is definitely an important thing.
Perfect. And then what is it that you are looking into an investor? Aside from property, what is it that you look to see in an investor? Besides, you like the report, making sure they have a successful exit strategy, the numbers coming at the right rehab, everything is all aligned with your requirements, all with requirements. What type of personality, what is it that you, aside from the deal itself?
Well, naturally, the relationship is very important. I always want to interview my borrowers. I want to know as much as possible about them, their background, their ability to be able to do the project as efficiently and as professionally as possible. Their knowledge of, excuse me for the phone ringing, I'm going to put that on black. So those types of things are very important. Somebody who just calls and wants a quick loan right away within a matter of a few days to a week or 2 weeks without my knowing them becomes quite a challenge for both myself as well as the borrower. So we really want to establish a relationship with them. We want to know how many properties they have done in the past. What are they bringing to the table in terms of their experience and so on and so forth, their financial background and how efficiently they have been able to do their projects and how they're embarking on their project.
Great, amazing information, Doctor. Friends, are there any on the line for Dr.? I mean, this is a great opportunity. I mean, I feel so privileged that he's on the line with us this morning. Please ask questions. Feel free to unmute yourself. This is opportunity, friends. This is your. Nicole is asking, have you ever considered lending to a new investor?
Absolutely. If I would like to put myself in the shoes of the borrower, of the investor, there's always a starting point, and why should I not take them into account and help them out? We certainly want to help new investors, but at the same time, we want to make sure that they are motivated, they are serious, they have done their homework, they have gone over the property. I typically like to visit the property myself. On the side, I am a licensed real estate realtor also, only for this purpose of going on the MLS and doing my research. So due diligence becomes extremely important, and we want cooperation. We want certainly motivation from the investor. So new investors are definitely as welcomed as any seasoned investors, for that matter.
Great. I would like to do a challenge. I would like to do a 3-day challenge. What I want to do is, I want to make sure you integrate, you analyze it. I'm going to show you how to analyze it next. And guess what? You're going to generate a report. And then that report, guess what? We're going to send that report to Dr. Saeed for his review. It's going to be that powerful. So a 3-day challenge. You have Sunday today, Monday, and Tuesday. So the deadline is going to be Tuesday, okay, by 5 p.m., okay? I need you to create a report that I'm going to show you how to do it, and we're going to send that report to Dr. Said just for his review, okay? And then we'll take it from there. But I want to make sure that not only are you going to learn today, but I want to make sure that you take action today, not tomorrow, not in a week. I want to make sure that you take action. And not only that, but I'm giving you a deadline of Tuesday, 5 p.m. for you to send us a report that we will then forward to Dr. Said for his review.
Yeah, at the same time, Hugo, if I may add one very important thing, and that is, I'm not a bank. I don't have unlimited amount of funds.
Right.
And lending is the only part of the real estate that I am involved in because of my age and because of the fact that I'm almost retired. So having said that, I cannot make any commitment at this time because I will have to, but it would be good as an exercise, if I may say, as to how to review these types of investment requests that can come my way.
Absolutely. It's just going to be a review from Dr. Ali. That's about it. We're going to review it first before we send it to Dr. Said. Okay, super important. There's no commitment. Okay, we're going to make this very clear. It's just for him to get some feedback. That's about it. No commitment.
I'll be delighted to help in any way I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Said. So I greatly appreciate your time. And it's very true what he said. Most private money lenders are willing to lend to newbies. Why? Because guess what? We all started at some point at ground zero, right? So many investors have been in our shoes, or private money lenders, and they're going to be willing to help. Okay, but you need to do your due diligence, which is what I'm about to show you next in the 5 minutes. The next 5 minutes. So, Dr. Said, thank you very much for your support.
Thank you so much, Hugo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your kindness. Okay, friends, so I'm going to show you what you need to do by Tuesday at 5 p.m. So you're going to find a great deal with a lot of equity. And then what you're going to do is we're going to need to show a successful flip and rental exit strategy. So as you heard, Dr. Said, he wants to see comps. So what I'm going to do is we don't know how many bedrooms. I'm gonna click on the columns. This is okay. So based on the square footage, this is gonna need to be at least a 3-bedroom. So we're gonna do 3-bedroom, 1 to 2 baths, and then within a 1-mile radius right here. And that's sold in the last 6 months. So all we need to do is search. We're gonna pull some comps. When you pull the comps, you wanna make sure that you are only taking into account properties that have been rehabbed. You don't wanna take into account the closed properties that were not rehabbed. So price 245, 290, 302. The 245, in my opinion, has not been rehabbed, but let's take a look, okay? It might have been rehabbed. So it's in nice condition. So we're gonna take this as a comp. So it's been rehabbed, it's clean, right? Cool. And then let's quickly take a look at the other one, the second one that sold for 290. Well, that's pretty nice. So obviously this is really nice. They're all being rehabbed. So we're gonna take all 3 of them into account. So these are gonna, now go to the rental calculator. We know what the rent for the subject property footage to do is going to be based on the location, address, square. All you need to do is fill in your expenses. Utilities are paid by the tenants. Maintenance, you're gonna pay maybe $75 a month. Then management fee, we pay $50 per door. Insurance is gonna be, let's say $90. Taxes, to look up the taxes, click on the owner loan tab, then you get the taxes right here. So 66, 67, okay, 67 divided by 12. So 60 by 12, that is $560 a month. $560 a month. And then how much are we going to pay for the property? We said we're going to pay 150. 1, 2, 3. Rehab is not going to be more than 40,000, and then calculate. Okay, so your positive cash flow on the deal 900, and we're going to do the same with the flip. We know we can flip this for, being realistic, 280. The rehab is going to be, we're going to be adding a cushion of 50,000 for the flip, because the flip for the rehab for the flip is going to be a little bit more expensive than for the rental. Commission, we're going to pay 5% commission to sell the property. You're going to pay for the utilities, gas, electric, water when you rehab the property. So this is going to be at least 200. Insurance, we said 90. Taxes, we said 560 or 580. You're paying 150 for the property. 1, 2, 3. So here you're going to be making a net profit of 62,000 if you sell the property for 279. Okay. Now we have a rehab estimator. In this case, if you get to see the property from the inside, that'll be amazing, because here you can use this rehab. You're doing a 2-car garage. I'm going to do 1, and then you are doing a replacement. Just for sakes, I'm going to show you how it works. So 1-car garage. For interiors, let's say you're doing 10 doors. Just to show you, 10 doors, we're doing a replacement, and so forth, right? So I just want to give you the example. So at the end, you're gonna calculate the rehab. So for sakes, 14,000, actually, just to make it bigger, I'm gonna make the garage like we're doing a 2-car garage instead of 1, 2. So the rehab looks like in the 40,000. So 27, okay. Here the rehab is gonna be 20,000 for here. So all you need to do next is generate a report right here. Generate a report. This is what it's due at 5 p.m. So we're gonna bet these, we're gonna review that, and then if it looks good, we're gonna give you feedback. Else, we're gonna send it to Dr. Said for his feedback. Okay, so this is what private money lenders or hard money lenders see. Property details. Okay, what's your exit strategy numbers for a flip? We're gonna be making 97,000 on the flip. What's your exit strategy for the rental? What's gonna be your cash flow? Itemized. What's going to be your scope of work? 27,000 right here. Two-car garage, that's how much, interior doors. So everything that you put into the rehab estimator, boom, it's gonna show in this report. Dr. Said said he okay, sorry. So this report is generated by DealVault, absolutely. So can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So yeah, the report is generated by DealVault. It says right here, generate report. You see generate report. It generates the report that you need to present to the various private money lenders, hard money lenders. So this is how we get our deals funded. Click of a button, boom. What to do is fill out few numbers, and that's about it. So very, very simple. Are there any other questions? Okay, perfect. So again, the challenge, this report is due next Tuesday, 5 p.m. We're gonna forward that to Dr. Ali. Obviously, we're gonna review it first. There's no commitment. This is just an exercise to give you feedback, okay? But I wanna make sure that today, not tomorrow, today, you go out, you find the create off-market deal or MLS deal, analyze a successful rent and flip exit strategy, you pull the comps and you generate the report, okay? Very simple. So if you still don't have access to DealVault, your free access for the next 30 days, all you need to do is fill this form out, select for the package special Chicago DealVault, and the promo code is money. Free for 30 days. And the challenge is due on Tuesday, 5 p.m. So you need the funding. I'm gonna call this funding report, okay? Where do we send it? Please email that to support@chicagodealvault.com, okay? So we have access to a lot of private money lenders. In fact, let me show you in Chicago DealVault, we have right here a tab that says private money lenders. Right next to the off-market properties, we have 6,600. So 6,600 private money lenders, people like Dr. Said, okay, who lend money to investors like you and I, right here. What's powerful is I can look for all the Bolingbrook. Let me show you Bolingbrook private money lenders, people who have lent in deals in Bolingbrook. I just search 19. You can just click on the name and boom, I get their mobile phone number, email, landline, everything, right? So we can just call them as we speak. Once you get the report that I told you, let's say the property is in Bolingbrook. So what I'm gonna have you do, this is the second step of the challenge. You're gonna be calling or emailing or reaching out, either way, private money lenders, at least 5 of them. I want you to feel comfortable. You're gonna say, Jesus, I'm a real estate investor and I understand you funded, and then here is the address, 240 South. The address is right here. The property they funded is right here. The first one, okay? You funded 240 South Ashbury Avenue in Bolingbrook, and if you scroll to the top when they lent money on this deal, back on November 2019, I have a great deal in Bolingbrook. Would you be interested in making a 12% return on your money? 2 points. Does that make sense? So that's going to be the second part of the challenge, because I want to make sure that you feel comfortable, that you know what you're doing, and you take action today. Because come 2021, there's going to be a huge number of deals coming down the pipe due to all the foreclosure filings that are going to start next year. Okay, so I want to make sure that you're ready.